All right. Welcome back. You know what time it is? Fan to Van podcast time. Tried doing this on Facebook, but I don't know, some weird ass nonsense. So figured we'd bring it to Instagram Live for the first time ever. You know, a lot of things to really kind of discuss from a lot of different sports worlds. One thing I did want to discuss, and I don't know if you heard about this, the guy in Seattle with the Seahawks. Guy beat the crap out of his girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
That thing. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this right now.
You're not gonna see him again.
No, it's utterly atrocious what he did. It's disgusting and downright immoral. One, and two, he literally needs to he needs to get his ass beat. Like literally, I follow Steven Jackson on Instagram, obviously, and he posted it and he said, listen, I agree with a lot of what Steven Jackson says when it comes to justice reform and all that stuff, and he does a lot of great things. Somebody commented on him, bring him to the hood, he wouldn't last. You damn right, dude, wouldn't last in the hood.
Fuck no, man.
Shit, he wouldn't last in the hood over here. Get his fucking ass handed to him.
Right, man. The size you are to hit a fucking woman like that. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know, but it's not right. But
hey, Kareem Hunt did it too, and hey, but whatever.
Yeah, well, you know, Kareem Hunt went and fixed his mental issues, so whatever. Well, he should also fix his friggin' you know, you want to chirp at Juju all day. Listen, you get Cleveland Browns ass has got Corvette right out of the playoffs by a guy who literally hasn't thrown a ball in like 4 years in Chad Henne. All right. You know, other things that we've discussed on the podcast, obviously it's been football based when I started it and then when you jumped into it. And obviously, me being a Steelers fan, so we're going to dive into this part of it. Obviously, Ben's going to restructure his deal. However they do it, they're going to do it. And I got to read these comments that people want Ben gone. I don't know why you want Ben gone. There's no need for Ben to retire yet. Ben came out and Ben said, case in point, ready? I don't care about my pay this year, which pretty much tells you he will literally play for free.
Basically, yeah.
And like Brady, Ben has been selfless with every contract. Yeah, he got a lot of money in his contracts, but then think of how much he's restructured his contracts the way Brady did to keep guys, bring guys in. And these so-called knowledgeable football fans that say that that say that Ben's overhyped and everybody anoints him to go. Listen, are you kidding me?
Wait, who anoints Ben the GOAT?
Are you kidding me? Because those are the same people that anointed Lamar Jackson to go to the AFC North. And what happened?
Choke.
You choked again in the playoffs. You can say what you want about the Steelers losing to the Browns in the wild card game, but let's call that what it is again. They played flat. They didn't show up. Even I admit it. As the biggest Steeler fan that you possibly know of, they played flat.
And as a Giant fan, as you're my friend, they played disgusting.
It was disgusting. From the botch snap going forward.
Come on, from the botch snap, Conner could have had that.
It was the game
Conner could have dove right on. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know.
And again, it's a sad day because, again, you know, like we said last night, you know, they're letting Conner test free agency. I don't like it. And from this standpoint, the minute that came out, and everybody's saying, oh, this means we're drafting Najee Harris. I don't see Najee Harris being at the 24th pick.
Honestly, bro, I
don't see it. And here's why, and I'm going to say this. I don't see us even having a 24th pick because I have a feeling
that you guys are gonna
that they're going to trade it away
for Ben's heir apparent.
No. It's reported that they will find a quarterback in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of the groups I'm in on Facebook to promote the podcast and everything, one guy commented on it. You know, he listened to the one where we talked about Haskins getting signed and the risk reward of it, where there's really no risk. There's really only reward for it. Because A, you're not paying him much. B,
he's sitting behind Ben.
B, if he improves the way that Tomlin thinks he could fix him, the Rooneys now have to go and not retract what they said about Rudolph saying that he is going to be Ben's successor, but you now have to put Haskins into the equation. But here's the problem with that. Ben is still here. So how did they get that shot? they don't get a shot in a full season until Ben hangs it up, and he said it one last ride. And him and his agent are persuading Pouncey in the biggest way to come back for one more year. I think, honestly,
he comes back.
The way Pouncey comes back, a lot of things got to fall into place. And one of the things that has to fall into place is the thing that Ben said. Juju has to be part of the plan. That's why Ben doesn't care about his pay. Ben wants Juju to get paid. Ben wants Bud Dupree to get paid. And again, and I say this strongly, when Bud Dupree went down, and as big of a loss as it was in Steeler fans, oh, well, now who's going to replace Bud? This defense is going to suck now.
He's way ahead of schedule right now.
Listen, there's a kid that they drafted, okay? Wears number 56. His name's Alex Highsmith, who I've been high on since the draft. Alex Highsmith filled in fine. Because the Steelers, just like my Yankees, next man up mentality. One guy goes down, next guy steps up. Look what happened when Spillane went down. Next guy up. Same thing when Devin Bush went down to torn ACL. Spillane was the one who came up. Okay?
And so he filled in pretty nicely, actually.
So, but for Haskins or Rudolph to have to prove to the Roonies that either one of them could be the full-time starting quarterback and be successful at it, it takes more than just a preseason.
Yeah, play a whole entire 17-week season and
how do you do that when? And how do you do that with Ben still here?
Well, Ben's got to retire.
And Ben, like I said a few minutes ago, this is one last ride. You know, kind of like the Fast and the Furious movies.
Yeah.
Fast 10 is going to be the last ride, but probably not. So they'll probably make 20 more after it somehow, and they'll all be in caskets drag racing down freaking Middle Country Road. They'll probably film it here in Quorum.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I think Pouncey will come back because Ben did tell Pouncey, I'm coming back last season for you to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because he was out of the 2008 Super Bowl.
And the way, and now the way, when that game ended, and you saw Ben, and you want to mock Ben for crying? I don't mock him at all. I give the guy, I give the guy credit for showing raw emotion there.
Exactly. That's a real man.
And Pouncey had his decision made then and there. He said, I'm sorry, brother, but this is it. Pretty much he announced it then and there. That was his retirement.
And Claypool.
But if you mean to tell me that I got to read reports from these so-called knowledgeable Raiders beat reporters that Juju wants to sign with the Vegas Raiders, the way Juju sat on that bench, the way Claypool sat on that bench, the way Ben sat, the way the three of them sat there together, tells you all you need to know
what's going to happen next year.
That Ben was coming back. The decision was made then and there. He was coming back. He was not ending his career losing to the Cleveland Browns. He was not doing it. Okay? Juju's sitting there. And all you Steeler haters can, well, he was playing Fortnite in the Raiders jersey, and he was playing Fortnite in the Rams jersey. I don't care. And by the way, speaking of the Rams, there's something interesting that came out today, too. We'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, God.
So, now, like, because in high school, I took a film class where you analyze films and, the undertones and all this other bullshit, right? That picture said 1,000 words without anybody saying a word. The dejection, the raw emotion, the sadness showed you that they were pissed that they just lost to Cleveland, and they knew they let not only the city of Pittsburgh down, but they let the Steeler Nation down. If you didn't think then and there that Juju is not going to be back in his Steeler jersey this season coming up, he's going to be back.
And I guarantee he's going to put on a look.
The Roonies could come out and the Roonies can say, well, we went to Ben and told him if he wants to be back, he has to restructure his deal. That's all well and good, but Ben and his agent already went to the Roonies and said, we're willing to restructure.
Ben's going to make $1 million this year.
No. What happens is this. Because and we said it in other podcasts, but for those that are going to watch on Instagram Live, a lot of this $41 million is not base salary. $15 million of it is a roster bonus. $19 million of it is from last year's signing bonus that he didn't get, and then the rest of it is from whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's where the $41 million comes into play. Now, what you could do is you could extend him 4 more years, and
And
you
spread it out.
defer the money. So you take a chunk of it right now. If you were to do this right now,
Mhm.
you would take that money, turn it into a signing bonus. Doesn't affect the cap.
Exactly.
Okay.
I got you.
All right, doesn't affect the cap. You then defer the rest of the money over the course of the next 4 years that's owed to him. Okay.
That's
Then-
how you do Juju, okay.
Then that's how he only makes $1 million
Can't move money.
this year.
And that's how you get Juju.
And that's what I think he's willing to do if that's the route they go. Or does Ben do the most selfless thing ever and literally say, I'll play for free?
Yo,
I don't
off
see
the
him really
field-
playing for
Yo,
free.
off the field, bro, every touchdown pass Ben throws, he donates forgot how much money it was, a certain amount of money to charity. Every touchdown pass he makes.
Yeah.
A lot of the quarterback does that in the league.
Not many,
Exactly.
if any at all.
Exactly my point.
But again, there's a lot of questions going into the Steeler offseason. A lot of free agents. And this is why Ben is going to restructure the deal the way I think he's going to do it. Is because you have Hilton. I like the guy.
I
You got to
don't-
re-sign him.
Yo,
He's one of the best blitzing safeties and corners I've ever seen. A lot of people saying to save cap money, you cut Joe Hayden.
What?
I'm not cutting a guy who is ranked number 10 in pass breakups of all time. Not doing it.
No.
Okay, you already saved about $5.2 million with Vance McDonald retiring.
Okay.
If Pouncey stays retired, which I think 50% of me says he doesn't, 50% says he does. If he does, you save another $8 million. Plus whatever Ben is restructured at, that gets you Juju, Sutton.
And whatever Connor's always
It gets you Hilton. Connor, you would bring back on the cheap. But he wouldn't be the featured running back anymore. Because you're either going to find the featured running back
In free agency?
in free agency or you're going to do it in the draft. Now, the reason why I said I don't see
Najee
a
Harris?
24th pick is because all the rumblings coming out of Houston. No, not Deshaun Watson. It's not happening, Steelers fans. It's not going to happen.
It's the other.
Okay, they
What?
want too much. This is how you get the trifecta. You swap picks with Houston. You get JJ. That's all it's going to take.
What?
So you take, and then you're going to have TJ, JJ, and Derek. That's just odd. They couldn't find like an abbreviated name for Derek. But what, and you want to know what? If you really want to save more cap money, you let Derek walk. You don't have to pay him $10
You
million.
don't use him anyway.
They don't utilize him. Think about this. How many times in certain situations that they could have utilized him and they didn't?
On the 2-yard line and goal.
Bomb
Bomb it downfield.
Yeah, it's third and goal at the goal line, and Fichtner calls for a Hail Mary. It's insane.
Give it your football.
But thank God for that the Steelers came to their senses.
Oh, thank
and
you,
I think,
Canada.
and they said as far as Tomlin's contract situation goes, they pretty much said as long as Tomlin wants to be here, that's their coach. Because our organization doesn't switch coaches every year like Cleveland has,
Like us.
or like the Vikings, or like even your team.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I'm concerned, Tomlin's going to be here for a long time. So for all you Tomlin haters out there, oh, this guy should be fired. Oh, but let's think about this.
Look what he did.
14 winning seasons, went 8-8 without Ben, without a stable offense, because you didn't know what you were getting out of the Zach Morris friggin' Canal Street version of Zach Morris there. You didn't know what you were getting out of Duck Hodges, who they cut ties with, and he flew to LA. And speaking of LA, they're exploring the Stafford situation.
Well, I did just chat on.
Literally, you're gonna go from a guy like Jared Goff, who is a decent quarterback for you, and you're gonna go get a guy who can't stay healthy. And you could blame it on your offensive line not protecting Matthew Stafford. I'll agree to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll agree to that. But why are you gonna take the chance on Stafford, who's aging, as opposed to your quarterback who's what, 26?
26 years old. They drafted him what, 3 years ago.
All right, I'm just putting it out there. Sean McVay, I don't know what the issue is there in LA, but they need to sit, have a macchiato or some bullshit, and just figure it the hell out. Because
maybe
if you trade for Matthew Stafford,
you're stupid.
Do you win a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford with that offensive weaponry that you have there? The answer is no.
Make the playoffs?
They'll make the playoffs. They'll make the playoffs consistently.
But they won't beat Green Bay. They won't beat.
But where Jared Goff, let's say you trade him to Detroit, and Detroit gets all these offensive weapons.
Okay.
All right. Let's say they draft him. You have DeAndre Swift, who's going to be a decent running back in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
You keep Galladay, keep this guy or whatever, and you bolster the defense. All right, and you got frigging the Saints offensive coordinator, Drew Coleman, I think, who's over there now. You get them, and let me tell you, you get Goff into Detroit with weapons. Detroit's going to be an issue for years to come.
And then McVay's fucking slap himself in the face.
You literally are taking a franchise like the Rams, and you're downgrading it.
I know.
It's the quarterback position. That's like literally taking Aaron Donald and trading him away on the defensive side of it. You can't do it. If I'm the Rams GM and I'm a Rams ownership, I got to step in here and be like, listen, you got to stop acting like a bunch of little bitches and figure this shit out, because this is the guy we signed to like a 5-6 year extension of like $100-something million. Or do the Rams get in on the Watson fiasco and trade Goff to Houston?
I don't see the Rams giving up all those picks.
You don't have to, because they'll do this like 20-team mega trade where everybody's going everywhere. And speaking of that, if I'm the Jets and I get involved in this deal that's going to involve Houston, the Niners, and themselves, you get nothing out of this. You get a quarterback who, in my opinion, and my buddy Sal hates the guy, he calls him Jimmy Garbage. The Jets will be in the same position now.
They were last year.
With Jimmy Garoppolo than they are with Sam Darnold. So if I'm the Jets, this is what I do. I keep Sam Darnold. I don't get involved in this nonsense.
But if they were,
the only reason why Garoppolo is even being entertained is because who's the Jets head coach now?
Rob Saleh.
Who was the defensive coach in San Francisco? Okay, case in point.
I know. I got you.
All right. So this is the trade works out where San Francisco gets raped. And they have to give up everything under the sun.
Yeah, basically.
And John Lynch will, because he's a schmuck.
Yep,
because John Lynch is a schmuck. And if the Niners were smart, honestly, I'd fire him and bring in Joe Montana as the GM. Because Joe Montana will build a better team than what this freaking guy is doing. And you don't, if I'm the Jets, you don't get involved in this deal.
All right,
you will only get screwed.
All right, so put it this way. Say the Jets did get involved in this deal. All they could do is give him a 5th rounder, correct? So that means
all they get is a fifth. Well,
no, they give up a 5th rounder for Jimmy Garoppolo. That's it. And Sam Darnold. They still keep their 2nd round pick, their first round pick. They do. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but do you want to build around a guy who's consistently hurt, or do you want to build around a kid who's all going into what, year 4? I'd rather build around the kid going into year 4. That's what I would do.
I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm like,
that's kind of what I would do there. That's, if I'm the Jets, and thank God I'm not. And thank God I'm not a Jets fan, because I would probably be friggin' shit-faced in the corner somewhere at Gordon Heights, friggin' shooting dope.
I'll be surprised if
Richard Sherman, I guarantee you, will be on the Jets.
Will be in the Meadowlands, I know.
And to get a guy like Richard Sherman now, the only reason why they would do it is for a veteran presence in the secondary. That's it. Because Richard Sherman is not the same Richard Sherman he was with the Legion of Boom when Seattle was. And let's call that what it is. Seattle, even all those years, to have the teams that they had then and win 1 Super Bowl,
which they should have won 2 if you would have given them Marshawn Lynch to pound it in there instead of throwing it in. I still can't get over that.
When you go over all the Tom Brady Super Bowls, think about how many were handed to him on the stupidest of play calls, and that being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You literally, on what is it, 2nd and goal or whatever it was, to pass the ball there. How Pete Carroll is still in Seattle is beyond me, because I would have fired him right after that. Brady doesn't have 6 if you run it in with beast mode there. That was atrocious. That was atrocious. And again,
I still don't get it.
And again, Russell Wilson, overhyped. Breeze, overhyped. Aaron Rodgers, I'm sorry, overhyped.
Basically figured out Russell Wilson. Keep pressure on him. You can't do shit. You can't do anything.
For those 3 quarterbacks that I just said are overhyped, right? The same ones who put them on these pedestals are the ones who take Ben Roethlisberger off that pedestal and knock him down. For the same shit these 3 do. Get to the big spot and choke. But what does Ben have over all of them? He has 1 more Super Bowl more than them.
He has 2 more Super Bowl appearances
Than them.
and next to 2 more AFC championships.
Yep.
And yep, they do.
So.
Oh yeah, the Giants got 2 too.
Yeah, well.
Recently.
Well, I wouldn't say recently.
Yeah.
Last decade. Just saying.
You know what? Yo, we won one every decade, so guess what? We got one this year.
Who knows? Who knows? But what's comical, and you know, and some don't agree with me when I say that Aaron Rodgers is overhyped. Listen, I don't take credit away from their talents at all. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna be that unknowledgeable fan that puts Rodgers, Breeze, and Russell Wilson in one category, and then you put Ben in this other category because you just don't like the Steelers and you hate Roethlisberger, right? You can't do that because you have to put Ben in this category as well.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do
Yep.
it. You have to do it. And not only that, and not to take away from Brady, Tom Brady in the New England situation proved, leaving New England to go to Tampa, he never needed Belichick.
Belichick needed Brady.
He was the system. Brady was the system.
Yes,
And Brady won with a different style coach. Now listen, Brady's not winning the Super Bowl this year.
No.
There's no way.
He's not being passed
There's no way. Because if Brady wins the Super Bowl, I'm tearing out like the movie This Is the End. You're gonna see sinkholes everywhere, and Craig Robinson's gonna be kicking Aziz down the friggin' hole, and we're all gonna be at James Franco's house smoking pot and doing LSD.
And all Patriots fans are not Buccaneer fans.
And that's it. And you know what? I can't stand that.
I cannot stand
As long as I've been alive and have watched sports, I've always been loyal to every team I root for, through thick and thin. When the Rangers have sucked and consistently sucked, I still watch
consistently.
You know, the Yankees, for as many times as they should have got to the big one, and somehow you can throw scandals in there, cheating scandals or whatever, which Cashman in a Zoom interview, they were talking about Tanaka, and he said, Tanaka should have had a World Series, but, we ran into shenanigans, pretty much taking a shot at the Houston Astros scandal. And the interesting thing with Tanaka's deal with Japan is it leaves the door open for him to return to Major League Baseball. So, because they asked him, they said, well, why didn't you bring Tanaka back? And pretty much you have an already solidified rotation, especially with getting Taillon from the Pittsburgh Pirates, right? Yep. It opens up the door, though, for Tanaka to come back. So if he lights it up in Japan again, the way he lit it up his first 7 years with the Yankees, the Yankees will explore bringing him back. And you don't have to do that whole posting thing again because he's already been in Major League Baseball.
Exactly.
So I don't think you have to pay that whole posting thing in order to get the guy, which I think is utterly stupid.
Yep.
But you have to give these Japan teams money because you're taking one of their guys, or however that works. I never really read into it. And regardless, Tanaka at some point will be back in pinstripes. He can even come back as soon as this following season. Not this year, but the following
year.
Yeah. All right? Because it's only like a 2-year, I think $7 million deal he's going back to Japan for. Or $17 million, something like that.
I was going to say $7 million. All
right?
I stay in the U.S.
But, another topic that I want to discuss.
Bring it on.
And it irks me that supposed knowledgeable basketball fans would have this debate without including Mamba mentality.
Kobe Bryant. You talking about the LeBron James and Michael Jordan debate?
bottom line is this with that debate. Everybody knows the numbers, so we won't go into it.
There is no debate. Put it that way.
Bottom line is this. Jordan and LeBron, they played in two different eras. LeBron would never last in Jordan's era.
Never.
Kobe can, because Kobe played the same style the way Jordan did.
Yep.
Okay.
And he would adapt to that shit.
Now, again, for those who think that I bash LeBron and
he's an extremely talented player. I will give him that.
Factor this into play, because one day I was watching a Michael Kay show, and they talk about when Harden got traded to Brooklyn, and the way all that transpired, how he pretty much threw a childish fit, because this is the league of which now we are watching. It's an oversensitive, pussified league. Let's just call it what it is.
Yep.
Okay? He got his way because he threw a tantrum and blah, blah, blah. This is even after the fact that the Rockets traded with the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
Right? They traded John Wall. They pretty much swapped Wall for Westbrook. And in my opinion, you get a better player in John Wall than you do a Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And not only that, Houston didn't even have a true center last year. They went and got one in DeMarcus Cousins, who, if he's healthy, is a decent center.
Yeah,
okay?
He's pretty good, actually.
Now, Michael Kay came out and he pretty much vilified James Harden, and duly so, for how he left Houston and how all this transpired. And then Don LaGreca chimes in. And he says, well, LeBron got vilified for the way he left Cleveland and the way he left Miami and the way he left Cleveland again. But he also made an interesting point that LeBron did finish out all his contracts. Okay. I'll give him that. And he got vilified for doing the special when he left and, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach. This is where you get vilified. Okay? Not that you left these teams after your contracts were up. It's this. You could have the special, but you didn't have to announce you were going to Miami with this huge hour special on ESPN. You didn't have to do none of that. All you had to say was, yep, I'm going to Miami, blah, blah, blah. But you didn't need the whole showcase after it, where they announced, LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. And then you three are standing there. We're not going to win just one. We're not going to win just two. We're not going to win just three. We're not going to win four. We're not going to win five. We're going to win six. We're going to win. And how many did you win? You won two. You left. And now then you left Miami with players they didn't want. Because you wanted these supposed pieces. Okay? And I won't vilify LeBron for this. He knew when he went to Miami, he was going to be LeBron. He was going to be Wade's number two.
Yeah.
So he, in essence, was going to be the Pippen to
Jordan.
To Jordan. So Wade was one, LeBron was two, Bosh was three. All right, so Pterodactyl was three. All right, but over the course of time, LeBron slowly, without even having a hand in doing it, I think more the fans and the sports media did this. LeBron slowly took the number one spot. So now they flop. And Wade accepted the number two spot, even though it's Wade's team. He expected, so they win the two, and then LeBron leaves and goes back to Cleveland. Okay? Oh, I'm going to go back to Cleveland. I'm going to help them win the championship. Yeah, you helped, but you didn't win. See,
Kyrie did.
GOATs win championships. They don't help win championships.
And they don't.
And if you want to debate that and say different, by all means, chime in and say something.
I watched the game.
Because Kyrie hit the big shot. LeBron's always been afraid. Jordan always took the big shot. Kobe took any shot. He took any shot. He would literally take a shot from the corner of this living room to a basketball court friggin' 6 miles down the road.
Michael Jordan, I remember watching this. He shot a free throw, eyes closed with his left hand.
Yeah, I think he was chirping with the Dikembe Mutombo.
Yeah, and switched it.
That was a good one. I like that one.
That was cute.
But again, how are people sitting there, whether it's ESPN, SMY, or whatever, or just regular sports fans in general, and you want to have the conversation of Jordan and LeBron and not have Jordan Kobe first? How? Because when it goes down, and again, for my generation, Jordan's the greatest of all time. Okay? Jordan is the god of basketball. Jordan's had more of an impact on the game for my generation, the way Kobe has for the generation after me,
Mm-hmm.
and for the younger kids who that LeBron's their Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Okay, so your generation, yeah, LeBron could be the greatest of all time. But if you want to talk about in the world of reality, which I live in,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure you do too, and countless
I
others,
pinch myself. I'm
right? Greatest of all time, hands down.
Michael Jordan.
It's Michael Jordan. It's Michael Jordan at 1A and it's Kobe at 1B.
Mm-hmm.
And LeBron is a
distant
distant
three.
third, if not a distant 6 or 7, because there's others that you could put ahead of him.
He's not my top 5 at all. Sorry to say.
Can you put LeBron in the top 10?
Yes.
Yeah, he's in the top 10, but he rounds out the 10. Because you can't dismiss Bird, Magic Johnson, Tim Duncan, Karl Malone,
Will Chamberlain,
Charles Barkley.
King Abdul-Jabbar, all those people.
You know, but if you talk about top 10 in my generation, well, from my generation forward,
Okay.
he's 10 because there's so many before, and Isaiah Thomas,
Isaiah.
Hakeem Olajuwon. There's so many others you could put ahead of him. And I don't care about
Sean Kemp.
I don't care about his stats, because again, I'll call it what this league is. It's a bitch league.
It's a flop.
It's been a bitch league
and
for
his
how many years now?
stats still fucking are nowhere near George's stats.
Jordan's shooting percentage has been always higher.
50%.
It's always higher than LeBron's has been.
50%, basically throughout his whole entire career. In the finals, 50%.
LeBron
James in the finals, he dropped his what is it, 22.5%? I mean, 22.5 points per game in the
Again,
finals.
to my point,
Sad.
but to my point, GOATs win titles. They don't help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And people could say, well, what about this NBA Finals when Paxton hit the big shot to tie a game? Okay, yeah, I'll give John Paxton that. But it's always been Jordan who's pushed everybody else to elevate their game that much higher. I don't see LeBron doing it. I don't see, and Kobe gets the knock for never passing the ball. But that's Mamba mentality.
You're damn right.
I don't see LeBron waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning having practices with himself. Kobe did that. Jordan did that.
Yo, but
Now LeBron.
believe it or not, Jordan and Kobe were good friends. As soon as Kobe came into the league, that fadeaway, he robbed his fadeaway. I ain't gonna lie.
And again, because like this one kid when I worked at one store, he pretty much told me, he's like, you can't use the different era excuse to not have the debate. It's not using it as an excuse. It's just because if you want to compare stats, they're going to be so far off as far as total amount of points scored throughout the course of your career, because LeBron's been playing longer.
I know, and also in this era, they're taking about 20. Each person taking 20 free throws a game now.
But did LeBron take 2 years off in his prime to go play baseball to honor his dead father's wishes that he wanted him to be a baseball player?
Yep.
Okay, and even though Jordan sucked at it,
horrible.
let's call it what it is. He sucked at it. But then for Jordan to come back, like he never left,
and then win 3 more in a row.
Okay, Jordan won with what was around him.
He beat the Suns with Charles Barkley. He beat the Utah Jazz with
Malone and Stockton.
The
Trailblazers with Cliff Robinson, Clyde Drexler.
Exactly. Need I say more?
You know, he didn't go and form super teams like when everybody left. Like when everybody wanted to form a team with Golden State. You know, and Durant gets the knock for that Durant had to leave Oklahoma to go to Golden State to win a title.
Yeah, Westbrook was a little whiny about that too.
Nah. Listen, I'm gonna if the 3 of them were able to put their egos aside, Oklahoma possibly with 1 or 2 different pieces other than what was there with the 3 of them,
they could
might have been what the '90s Bulls were. But because they were all selfish,
they all want to be number one.
And let's put it this way: Westbrook
is the most selfish.
He's a cancer to any team.
He's the most selfish,
and that's why his career will go from here, where it was in Oklahoma,
down there
to literally nowhere.
He is the most selfish
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You could disagree with it, but it needs to be said. And you know, I don't like the forming of super teams. I just don't, and that's why I stopped watching for so long.
Me too.
That's literally why. There's just no need for it. You know, people say, "Well, Jordan formed super teams."
No, we didn't.
If you think that winning championships with Bill Wellington, Luke Longley, Tony Kukoc, Steve Kerr,
Bill Paxton,
Ron Harper,
Ron Harper.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he was such an impact player. Let me tell you. Oh yeah, that's a super team. That's a super team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again, like how everybody went to New England to play with Tom Brady to win, is the impact Jordan had with Rodman wanting to go to the Bulls to win championships. That's what GOATs do. They create the impact for you to come to them, not you to go to another team. Okay?
Right.
So, again, LeBron, suck my nuts because you're not the GOAT. You are not the GOAT. You have to do so much within the next 4 years before your contract's up with LA to even try to hop over Kobe. You have to win without Anthony Davis being there. Because Kobe won 3 with Shaq, then won 2 without Shaq, and won it with a worse lineup than Jordan did, winning friggin' winning the next 3.
Who did that? Paul Gasol, like
Paul Gasol, Derek Fisher. I think Ron Artest was even on that team.
Ron Artest, Metaball Police, whatever his name is.
You know, and you know, I just don't. You can't have that debate till LeBron's retired, and then see where everything aligns. You can't. You can't do it. You can't do it.
My decision still would be the same.
Regardless, I don't care if. Let's put it this way: I don't care if LeBron scores 950 million points.
Doesn't mean anything to me.
And it doesn't matter to me because you play in a league where everything's a foul. You literally walk out of the locker room, it's a foul.
That's why they're taking 20+ free throws a game each person.
Like literally, I'm watching the Knicks Cavalier game last night, and Julius Randle Randle goes up for a rebound, and they're calling a foul for what? What do you do?
Yeah.
What do you breathe on the guy? Come on.
You jump higher.
Come on. This era of basketball is it's so disgusting. You know, to form these super teams, if you want to be the greatest of all time, and you can kind of say, actually no, you really can't say, because somebody said that Tom Brady left New England to form a super team in Tampa. Okay, it's not a super team. Leonard Fournette is not the running back he was in LSU. All right, let's call it what it is.
He just took
Antonio Brown is not the Antonio Brown he was in Pittsburgh.
No.
Okay. Chris Godwin isn't an established star yet. Does he have great hands? Can he catch the ball? Does he put up decent numbers? Yeah. Is Mike Evans going to be a Hall of Fame wide receiver like Michael Irvin and Stallworth and Lynn Swann and all those guys? Probably not.
Probably not.
Okay. What super team is there?
It's not a super team. It's
Tom Brady. But again, those guys went there to win with Tom Brady because that's the impact a GOAT has.
The first time any team is playing their own stadium in the Super Bowl, too.
Fuck that. I don't give a shit about that.
Hey, it's history.
I just can't believe I got to root for a guy who puts ketchup on the steak.
Me too, but still.
But I just can't see Brady win a 7th. I can't.
It's not going to happen, so I'm just letting you know.
I cannot. Brady needs to, like, between now and February, was it 6 or 7?
7.
Somehow Brady needs to get his clavicle cracked.
Or
he needs to get kidnapped.
Or tears ACL.
Or, ACL would be good. I'm
or an Achilles would be alright. Or a broken finger on his throwing hand.
Well, no, he'll still play. He'll find a way to play. But, you know, and then other interesting things within baseball that, you know, that we've touched on, but we'll do it here too. For the life of me, why Cashman did this one. Again, from a financial standpoint, to make room for the salary cap, to make a big splash in free agency, whoever the next big piece that he's looking at. Even though they traded Adam Ottavino, and I liked Adam Ottavino, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But let's call what it is. Why on God's green earth
are
you trading in the AL East to Boston? Where car keys and khakis sound exactly the same with that stupid, annoying Boston accent.
Yeah, I gotta see him 20 times.
Okay. Why? Trade him in the NL. I get Boston was willing to take the contract. I understand that. But any other team would have taken it too.
I know, it wasn't that big of a contract anyway.
I don't know what Cashman was thinking there. I don't know, maybe he hit his head on the desk or something, pondering who he could trade to.
Maybe he hasn't slept yet.
You know what? What's next? You're going to trade Stanton to the Blue Jays because they'll take his contract, and then Stanton will start crushing bombs again? Hitting bombs over Baghdad? Come on. Come on, Cashman, wake up. The only way Cashman can make up for that ridiculous move, now for me,
sign Trevor Bauer.
Get Trevor Bauer. Because the Mets offered him a deal. Okay? The Mets offered him a deal, and it's so weird because some reports are saying it's a 1 year, others are saying it's a multiple year at like $30 million. And you know my stance on this. When it's a 5-6 year deal, and you're going to include opt out, opt in, whether it's team opt in, player opt in.
You guys in the third year.
Ready? You don't need like every other year is an opt in or an opt out. Third year, that's it. Opt in or opt out. And again, if you're going to sign the guy, like in any other sport, why are you backloading the contract and paying a guy in his declining years more money than what he's really worth?
That shit, exactly my point.
Pay him the bigger money in the beginning of the contract when he's proving his worth.
And when he declines.
Think about how many guys the Yankees did that with. Case in point is Alex Rodriguez.
A-Rod, you're right.
And A-Rod always had an opt-in, opt-out. Like he had that with the Rangers, and the Rangers didn't want to pay him, so the Rangers traded him to the Yankees. Okay, was that beneficial to A-Rod? Yeah, because he knew now with all these friggin' millions of opt-ins and opt-outs that he could opt out, and the Yankees would pay him all his money.
You're right.
And that's how he got all these deals. But then, when the steroid thing came out and his play declined, what happened? Yankees said, "Here's the check. You don't play no more." That's it. In essence, the Yankees forced A-Rod to retire sooner than he really wanted to by doing that. But you got to look at it as the Yankees did you a favor because you were playing so abysmal at that point.
A-Rod was not the A-Rod in the Mariners.
No.
He wasn't. Sorry.
No, or with the Rangers either. And you could say he had good years with the Yankees because he did. But again, you have to attribute it to PEDs. And we discussed that in length a few nights ago.
Yep.
So we'll go into it. We'll go into it a bit again because now you have the Baseball Hall of Fame ballot come out.
Mm-hmm.
Curt Schilling wants to be removed from it for 2022.
Gotcha.
Okay. All well and good. In my opinion, Curt Schilling is a Hall of Fame.
Yep. Hell yeah.
All right. Others say different, and everybody's entitled to the opinion. But what I'm telling you is this: these old, decrepit, Tales of the Crypt sports writers. Get off it already. We get that Bonds cheated the game. We get Roger Clemens cheated the game. We get Roger Clemens went in front of Congress, like Rafael Palmeiro and all these other guys, and they lied to Congress. Okay? But who hasn't lied to Congress? Politicians lie to Congress every freaking day.
And you had Jose Canseco writing that book.
Okay? That's what started it all, was Canseco's book, because he had to be a little snitch.
You see, rat everybody out.
All right? You had all that. But now let's jump to even before the book. Summer of '98.
Okay.
The home run chase. Right?
McGuire, Sosa?
McGuire and Sosa back when he was black. Before he went white. Okay? In my opinion, 61 is still the record to break.
That's right.
It's not Barry Bonds at 73.
No.
And Hank Aaron is the all-time home run leader.
It's not.
That's what it is.
It's not Mark Rodriguez. 71, 72?
No, McGuire only had like 66. No, he had like 70. Yeah. Regardless of what he had, it doesn't matter because it doesn't count.
I know, but I'm just saying.
It doesn't count to me. It doesn't count to other people that I know that know it's a fact. You can put Bonds and Clemens in the Hall of Fame without Bonds' San Francisco numbers and without Clemens' Yankee numbers. You have to put him in with the Red Sox numbers.
And you can put him in Blue Jays too.
Part of the Blue Jay one. Not all of it, but some. Because when he was with the Blue Jays, who knows when he started. That's the other thing. See, with Bonds, you knew. Because he was a twig in Pittsburgh.
I know.
And then goes to San Francisco, and all of a sudden his head is 5 times the size of what it used to be. And all of a sudden he's wearing double XL jerseys. Come on, bro. You were a size medium in Pittsburgh, and now you're a double XL, and all of a sudden your arms are friggin' guns blazing out of your
Yeah,
fucking
it's not
jersey
gonna-
like you're the freaking Black Incredible Hulk. Come on. Come on, man. No. So, you have nobody in the Baseball Hall of Fame this year, which is
abysmal.
It's abysmal to even think about it. And these writers hold these grudges for so many stupid things. It's beyond me what they hold. Look, Jim Rice is a prime example. This one reporter wouldn't put him in because he wouldn't answer a question in a press conference back in the day.
First American.
It took this writer to pass away for Jim Rice to get in. Okay, that's one. Also, two, here's where if you were going to put anyone in this year, even if you had to put one in, and I'm going to say this, and people are going to give me the knock, Andy Pettitte.
I was going to say the same thing.
Because if you put Mike Mussina in the Hall of Fame,
You better put Mike Pettitte.
you have to put Andy Pettitte in. And the fact that and I'll agree with Orioles fans on this. He was more dominant in Baltimore, but he goes in as a Yankee.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you want to talk about Hall of Fame voting as far as like all these writers and okay. Mariano gets the unanimous vote as well. He should have, even though the one jackass in Boston said I'm not voting him in.
Of course, I had Boston, obviously.
But he votes him in anyway. Now Derek Jeter is on the ballot. First ballot Hall of Famer, regardless to what these sabermetrics say. You know, you got these dorks in their basement. WAR walks against runs innings. No. I don't care about WAR, RAW, whatever friggin' abbreviations you can come up with. Here's all that matters when it comes to Derek Jeter. He was clutch at the plate, 3,000 hits, was good at playing shortstop. I don't care what field metric you can come up with. It tells me different.
His batting average was 302 to 319 every year.
Okay? Bottom line, he's a Hall of Famer. In my opinion, though, he should have been a unanimous vote in. And now that would have been the first time in history, not one but two back-to-back getting unanimously.
Rivera and Derek Jeter.
Okay?
Yo, actually that game, I think Derek Jeter hit that
3,000 hit was a home run to left field.
Yeah, he was 5-5 that game.
He was something.
Yo, he needed a triple for the cycle.
I mean, he was something in that game. But when you talk about the fact that they're not putting anybody in the Hall of Fame literally makes Major League Baseball look like a fool.
It does.
Because I'm not saying just put anybody in.
But Andy Pettitte,
but if you're not going to put so if you're not going to put Andy Pettitte in, right? This would have been the year, in my opinion, to put Bonds or Clemens in, or why not both, and just get it over with. Or dare I say, oh no, unban Pete Rose and put him in. Because this is what Major League Baseball will do, and they're going to look like the biggest friggin' hypocrites on God's green earth. Okay, Pete Rose will die, and then they'll put him in.
That's probably what.
It's not probably. It's what will happen. Because this is what Major League Baseball and this is what the NBA and hockey and football all do. A guy who cheated the game in some way, shape, or form. Though Pete Rose, he didn't take PEDs. He gambled games of which he either A, played or coached. Oh no. Oh God, no. Like, who wasn't doing it back then? He was the only one who got caught. Everybody. You mean to tell me back in that day that like, Tommy Lasorda wasn't betting games that he was coaching? Come on.
Really?
Everybody in any sport has cheated the game some way, shape, or form.
Just haven't got caught yet.
Some were smart enough to not get caught, and others were dumb enough to get caught. Pete Rose got caught. But you want to know something? He's the all-time hits leader. Take the gambling away from it and put the friggin' guy in the Hall of Fame. The guy was a hit machine.
The way I see it, man, is what they do on the field is the way.
But that's not how these writers look at it.
Fuck the writers.
And I've been sick. But the writers are the ones who have the ultimate vote.
I know. I can't stand
Which is stupid.
I can't stand that.
I shouldn't say stupid. But when they're voting, it shouldn't be based on personal biases. So, like, you have these writers who hold grudges
against certain players.
Exactly. Like, I guarantee you, one of the writers didn't vote Jeter, and he probably didn't want to answer a question after a game because it was probably like, oh, so how is Mariah Carey in bed? That has nothing to do with what he just did on the field. Okay? Nothing to do with it. What you do on the field should constitute whether you're in the Hall of Fame or not. If your numbers add up to being a Hall of Famer, you should get in just based on
Hands
that.
down, it does.
Okay? So,
Hands down.
guys that I follow like on Twitter, like John Heyman, vote based on that alone. When you have these other writers voting, though, they're like, oh, well, this guy told me to go fuck myself, so you know what I'm gonna do? That you're not in the Hall of Fame.
All right, so
You can't do that.
It's-
If the guy performed on the field the way he was supposed to, whether he won championships or not, did everything he was supposed to do on the field, and hit those unobtainable numbers like 3,000 hits, or if you're a pitcher, 3,000 strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and let's say for a pitcher standpoint, let's say you had a career ERA of like 3.05. Which is a decent ERA to have.
I'd rather than 2, okay.
Okay? And then you have all these other Hall of Fame numbers of which you're supposed to hit to get in. And some get in if they're almost there. And Pettit's one of those where he's almost at some of them. If he didn't get hurt the one year and didn't go to Houston, he might have obtained some of them, and he probably would get in. But that's what should be voted on. Not the fact that after an interview, or like in Curt Schilling's case, because he's very vocal about a lot of things as far as, you know, I'm not really going to get into it. That's not what this is about. But they punish Curt Schilling because he's politically vocal about a lot of different topics. That's what keeps him out of the Hall of Fame. In my opinion, that's what's keeping him out.
But it shouldn't.
Exactly. But it does. Because that's how these writers vote. They take everything into it. And they should. Bottom line is this. All right. If Mariano Rivera had came out and said he doesn't like transgenders, it's a prime example because this is one of the things that Curt Schilling has been vocal on. Mariano still gets in first ballot. He gets in unanimously. But Curt Schilling doesn't get in. I'm not defending what Curt Schilling says. By no way, shape, or form. Don't anybody get that twisted, because I don't defend anything the man says.
No.
Okay? I don't defend any of it. But what I'll tell you is this. On the field, was he a dominant pitcher?
Hell yeah,
yes, he was.
Hell yeah, he was.
You could put him up there with Pedro Martinez. You could put him up there with Randy Johnson, Greg Maddux.
Yeah.
Okay? Greg Maddux, let me tell you something. Greg Maddux goes down as one of the best to do it. One of the best.
Well, yep, the Yankees had to play him.
The guy painted corners better than anybody could. And that's back when we knew what a strike zone was. Mind you.
And that's the catch to not bring that shit in either.
Right? And speaking of that, in this day and era of baseball, the umpiring is atrocious. To the fact that they're going to have robot umpiring in the Atlantic League, like with the Long Island Ducks and all them, apparently that's where they're going to test this project out. It's not going to work. Okay? What Major League Baseball also needs to do, and I get they wanted to evolve and make the game better and faster, so I'm fine with double headers being 7 innings. But for the life of me,
why you gotta start
10th inning, and we're starting with a guy on second base. And Adam Ottavino was very vocal about it, and a lot of pitchers were. Why should a guy coming into the 10th inning have to pitch with a guy on second base that he A, didn't give up a hit to, didn't hit him with a pitch, or, dare I say, walk him? Why?
Is there any scoring?
Joe Torre came out, and I agree with it. It should start in the 13th, 14th inning. Me, personally, I think after the 10th inning is when you should start it.
Yeah.
That's when you should start it.
Well,
not in the 10th inning. How's that making the game faster?
They said game over.
That's just like that's like if you wanted to change the rules in football, like, oh well, whoever wins the coin toss gets the ball at the goal line. You might as well not even play it.
Exactly.
You might as well not even play it at that point. And then you want to talk about, and then speaking of overtime, we have to go into this because I got to go back to the Saints-Ram game, the non-pass interference call.
Okay, I remember that.
All right, because I can't stand fan bases that do this. They whine and cry. This like went all the way to the Supreme Court. They were trying to do this. Fans were trying to sue the NFL. They were trying to sue the Rams. They had all these conspiracy theories out there that, the guy was a Rams fan growing up, so that's why he didn't call this. All right, blah blah blah, whatever. They wanted a replay of the game from when that hit came. You had the replay of the game. Guess what, Drew Brees? You choked. You choked. Just like you choked twice against Minnesota, right? The Minnesota Miracle, Stephon Diggs. And you could even say the other choke job where Kyle Rudolph, I'm sorry, did push off in the end zone, but it wasn't called. And in football, Green Bay Packers fans, oh, we lost the game because of the bad pass interference call. There's bad calls in every game.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if the officials are letting them play and don't call it, again, like we said the other night, from the first quarter going forward, you can't call it there, and that changes the outcome of the game.
Especially after they start whining and crying, it's like 10 minutes late.
It can't be done. And then that's where the knock on Brady comes with, oh, well, look, another call in Brady's favor. And I've seen a lot of them go in Brady's favor.
Lot.
Okay? Case in point, 2016. Caught it. Jesse James caught the ball. I don't care what anybody says. He caught it, made a football move, dove, fumbled it, recovered it. Obviously, he didn't survive the ground because he fumbled the ball. But he recovered his own fumble, and the ball crossed the goal line. Before he fumbled it, he already scored. So
that's what I understand.
So, but then again, you're talking about a league that doesn't know what a catch is. That they had to implement a rule into what is a catch.
And then it took them 15 minutes to figure out what to say.
Well, because 14 and a half of it was, oh, how do we get ourselves out of this jam now?
Mm-hmm.
Well, hold on 1 minute. Wait, New England. And they get home field advantage. Okay. Oh, okay, so screw
pass
interference.
Okay. I mean, incomplete pass.
But
incomplete pass.
It's
just like the tuck rule. It lasted 5 minutes. Never heard of it. And
that's where this is where again, you don't take Brady's talent away, but a lot has gone in his favor. You're literally making up rules as they go. For what?
And they last that game, and you don't hear from him ever again. And another thing I want to bring up: who's this Chiefs defensive coordinator? D-Spags.
Yeah.
Now who's the Giants defensive coordinator? 2007-11.
Yeah, and Brady's already going to know what defense is getting thrown at him because he hasn't changed it since 07 or 2011. So you better come up with a new defensive play.
That dude, watch, you'll see.
You better come up with a new defensive play. That's all I'm saying.
You'll see. Pressure.
Well, no. The key to beating Tom Brady, whether it's week 1, week 12, playoffs,
keep on the field,
Super Bowl, you got to keep their defense on the field. You got to tire them out. And that's how your run game's going to be successful. Because, again, what do we need? What does every team need to start a passing game is you need the running game to be effective. Because otherwise, if your run game's effective, you're going to freaking ask Mahomes in the Super Bowl to throw 70, 80 times. Don't get me wrong. He's got the arm to do it. But that's where costly turnovers are going to come into play. And that's where, and especially with the way Kansas City scores, because they could score rapidly at any point.
Any point.
At any point, literally, they could be on the field for 30 seconds and score a touchdown. Okay?
Hey, it's the truth, though.
But Andy Reid, he's been here before. He knows what to do. He knows to win this game, he has to keep Brady off the field. And when Brady's on the field, he has to apply the pressure. But Brady has a lot of weapons. He's got Gronk. As of right now, Brown's doubtful for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You got Scotty Miller, which, by the way, Scotty Miller, you're not beating Tyreek Hill in a 40-yard dash. You're not even beating me in a 40-yard dash, and I'm like 20 pounds
You're not even beating John Ross in the 40-yard dash.
You're probably not even beating my dad in a 40-yard dash, and he's got bad hips. All right? But as far as the Super Bowl, it's Kansas City.
All day.
That's it. It's Kansas City. Now, I'm not saying it's a blowout, but what I'm saying is it's going to be close, but Kansas City's going to win it. Somehow Kansas City pulls it out.
Yep.
That's just what it's going to be. And again, Kansas City. I've always said that they have a suspect defense when they have a great offense, but their defense has been stepping up more and more lately. So you can't not. It's really now kind of becoming balanced.
Yeah,
and that's going to be a problem for Tom Brady.
Isn't Rashad Breeland hurt?
The hell does it matter? They got the friggin' Beaver. They got Matthew.
No shit.
He'll be fine. And if they're smart, they go re-sign Eric Berry for the Super Bowl. You can get him in before through all the COVID nonsense.
Come on.
And speaking of that, and we haven't even touched on that lately, is the NFL's horrible handling of COVID as far as the punishments. I mean, really, Baltimore had like 29 guys on the COVID list
and got the least punishment
and $250,000. You wonder why people call Roger Goodell ballless.
Roger.
But meanwhile, though, the Titans get $300,000 for less. The Raiders got $500,000
and a loss of a draft
and a loss of a draft pick, which again the Raiders always recoup.
Mm-hmm.
They'll always because they'll make a trade within the draft to get that pick back. That's what they'll do. But going into this season, assuming whatever, because we don't know yet. We don't know, but they better come up with a better COVID contingency plan.
And it better not come from Roger Goodell.
And Roger Goodell, I'm sorry, you got to step down as a commissioner because you proved this year you did not have player safety in mind. Because again, if you watch sports, it's not a sport anymore. It's a business. See, the NFL doesn't care about player safety. They act like they do. It's a smoke and mirror show. They only care about the revenue and what comes in. That's all they care about is how to fill the wallet. That's all they care about.
Obviously.
All right? And we all still watch, even though the officiating's horrible, and we see these BS penalties being called and the BS punishments for teams that broke the COVID protocols, but we still watch it, right? Because it's the greatest sport on earth.
It is the greatest sport on earth.
All right? After that, it's baseball. And then it's basketball.
I hate this part of the season.
Yeah. Because, I hate it, but I don't because now you got everybody with the because you got that, but then you got all the mock drafts, and you got the draft coming up, which is going to be interesting. Which we got to once the Super Bowl's over, we're going to delve deeper into the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Do some mock drafts, probably do it live.
I'll do it. Shit,
we'll do it live, but it's getting late now. I got the gym early in the morning. I'm actually going to try a new gym tomorrow. I'm going to go to Unique. I'm going to work out uniquely. It is unique. But till the next podcast, stay safe. You know what it is. Peace.
So do you think that was trying to,
Nah, it's good.